Have you ever wondered how a simple valve closure can generate enough force to destroy an entire piping system? Imagine a pipeline designed for 20 bar pressure, suddenly experiencing an 80 bar pressure spike. Not for minutes, not even for seconds, but for just a fraction of a second. And yet, that brief moment is enough to rupture piping, destroy valves, damage pumps, and shut down an entire plant. This phenomenon is known as water hammer, one of the most dangerous and misunderstood threats in pumping systems. And the scary part? Many engineers don't realize they have a water hammer problem until something fails. In today's video, we're going to decode the physics behind water hammer, understand why it happens, how pressure waves travel through piping systems, why pump shutdowns become so dangerous, and how world-class engineers protect critical systems from hydraulic transients. This is 3D Decode. Let's begin. Next critical design challenge. Let's begin with a real-world failure scenario. A piping system was designed for 20 bar. Everything looked correct. The piping specification was approved. The valves were properly selected. The equipment met design requirements. Yet the system failed. Why? Because during operation, a transient pressure spike reached 80 bar, 4 times the design pressure. And here's the important lesson. The system wasn't destroyed by normal operating pressure. It was destroyed by a pressure event that lasted only milliseconds. This is why experienced engineers never rely solely on design pressure, because operating pressure and transient pressure are two completely different things. A system can survive years of normal operation and fail instantly during a single hydraulic transient. This is exactly why water hammer analysis has become a critical part of modern pump package design. And trust me, once you understand what creates these pressure spikes, you'll never look at a piping system the same way again. Next, what is water hammer? So what exactly is water hammer? At its core, water hammer is momentum being converted into pressure. Whenever liquid is flowing through a pipe, it possesses momentum, just like a moving truck. The faster it moves, the more momentum it contains. Now imagine that truck hitting a wall. All of that motion energy must go somewhere. The same thing happens inside a pipeline. When flowing liquid is forced to stop suddenly, its momentum is converted into a pressure wave, and that pressure wave travels through the system at incredible speed, often close to the speed of sound within the fluid. This sudden pressure surge is what we call water hammer. And despite the name, it doesn't only occur in water systems. Any liquid system can experience water hammer. Oil pipelines, cooling water systems, process fluid networks, firewater systems. Anywhere liquid is moving rapidly, and if not controlled, the results can be catastrophic. Next, common triggers in pump systems. Now let's identify the situations that commonly create water hammer, because understanding the trigger is the first step toward prevention. The most common trigger is a pump trip. Everything is operating normally. Then suddenly the pump loses power. Flow begins decelerating immediately. Another common trigger is a complete power failure. The motor stops driving the pump. Fluid momentum continues, and transient conditions begin developing. Then we have rapid valve closure. This is one of the classic causes of water hammer. When a valve closes too quickly, the liquid doesn't have enough time to slow down gradually. Instead, its momentum becomes pressure. Another major cause is check valve slam. The valve closes after reverse flow has already developed. The disc impacts violently, and a massive pressure wave is generated. Finally, flow reversal itself can create severe transient events, especially in long piping systems where momentum becomes significant. And here's the interesting part. Most of these events occur during abnormal conditions, which means they often happen when operators least expect them. Next, the physics. Why pressure spikes occur. Now let's dive into the physics, because this is where water hammer becomes truly fascinating. Imagine fluid flowing through a pipeline. Everything appears stable. Pressure is normal. Flow is steady. But hidden inside that flow is kinetic energy. As soon as the flow stops suddenly, that energy has nowhere to go. It transforms into a pressure wave, and that pressure wave moves through the pipeline at acoustic velocity. In many systems, that's over 1,000 meters per second, faster than most people realize. Now here's where things get even more interesting. The pressure wave doesn't simply disappear. It travels through the system, hits a boundary, reflects, travels back, reflects again, and continues bouncing through the piping network like an echo inside a tunnel. Each reflection creates additional pressure oscillations, and during this process, certain locations can experience amplified pressure peaks. This is why water hammer can damage equipment located far away from the original disturbance. The problem doesn't stay where it started. The pressure wave carries it throughout the system. Next, pressure wave characteristics. Now, let's understand how these waves behave. Once generated, the wave travels both upstream and downstream. It doesn't care about equipment boundaries. It moves throughout the system. When it encounters tanks, dead ends, or major geometry changes, it reflects. And those reflections create oscillating pressure patterns. Sometimes waves reinforce each other. Sometimes they partially cancel. But under certain conditions, they can amplify dramatically. The speed of the wave depends on several factors: fluid density, fluid compressibility, pipe material, pipe thickness, pipe diameter, and temperature. In many steel water systems, wave speed ranges between 1,000 and 1,400 meters per second. That means a pressure disturbance can travel enormous distances almost instantly, which is why protection systems must react extremely fast. Milliseconds matter. Next, positive versus negative pressure surges. When engineers analyze water hammer, they actually evaluate two different types of pressure events: positive surges and negative surges. Let's start with positive surges. These are overpressure events. Pressure rises above normal operating conditions. This is the classic water hammer scenario: pipe rupture, valve damage, pump casing stress, support failure. Most people associate water hammer with this type of event, but negative surges can be equally dangerous. A negative surge is a pressure drop. Sometimes pressure falls below vapor pressure. And when that happens, the liquid begins vaporizing, creating vapor pockets inside the pipeline. This phenomenon is called column separation. Now here's the dangerous part. Eventually those vapor pockets collapse. And when they collapse, they generate secondary pressure spikes, sometimes just as destructive as the original event, which means both overpressure and underpressure conditions must be considered during design. Next, pump shutdown, the critical scenario. Among all transient events, pump shutdown is often the most critical. Let's walk through what happens. During normal operation, the pump forces fluid through the system. Flow is stable, pressure is controlled. Then suddenly, the pump trips, the motor stops. Flow begins slowing down. Eventually, velocity approaches zero, but the fluid still has momentum. That momentum causes reverse flow to begin developing. Now the check valve must react. Its job is to stop reverse flow before it accelerates. If the valve closes at exactly the right moment, everything remains under control. But if closure occurs too late, reverse flow builds momentum. And when the valve finally slams shut, a massive pressure surge is created. This is why check valve performance is so critical in pump package design. A few milliseconds can determine whether the system survives or fails. Next, check valve selection and performance. Many engineers underestimate check valves, but in transient protection, they are often the first line of defense. The ideal check valve closes before significant reverse flow develops, not after, before. Because once reverse velocity increases, the energy available for water hammer increases dramatically. Valve inertia becomes important, disc weight becomes important, spring design becomes important, travel distance becomes important. Everything affects closure timing. Poor valve selection creates three major problems: excessive reverse flow, valve slam, and severe pressure surges. This is why modern systems increasingly use non-slam check valves, because preventing reverse flow is far easier than managing the resulting pressure spike. Next, factors affecting water hammer severity. Not every water hammer event is equally severe. Several factors determine how dangerous the pressure surge becomes. Pipeline length is a major factor. Long pipelines contain more fluid. More fluid means more momentum. More momentum means larger potential pressure surges. Fluid velocity is another key factor. Higher velocity equals higher kinetic energy, and higher kinetic energy means larger pressure spikes. Closure speed also plays a huge role. The faster the valve closes, the larger the pressure surge. Pump inertia matters too. Heavy rotating equipment slows down more gradually, reducing surge severity. Pipe elasticity influences wave speed. Rigid systems generally produce more severe pressure events. And finally, fluid properties themselves affect surge magnitude. Density, compressibility, temperature, all contribute to transient behavior. This is why transient analysis often becomes highly system-specific. Next, protection methods and mitigation strategies. Now let's discuss how engineers fight water hammer. One solution is controlled valve operation. Instead of shutting instantly, the valve closes gradually, allowing fluid momentum to dissipate safely. Another method is surge relief valves. These open automatically when pressure exceeds safe limits, protecting equipment from extreme spikes. Then we have surge tanks and air vessels. These devices act like shock absorbers for the piping system, absorbing energy and stabilizing pressure fluctuations. Non-slam check valves provide another powerful solution, preventing reverse flow before it develops. Some systems use flywheels. Additional rotational inertia slows pump deceleration, reducing transient severity. And one of the most effective modern solutions is VFD-controlled shutdown. Instead of stopping instantly, the pump gradually reduces speed, allowing flow to decelerate safely. This approach often delivers enormous benefits with relatively low cost. Next, design strategy and analysis requirements. Now let's move into engineering practice. Because water hammer should never be treated as an afterthought. Engineers must analyze multiple scenarios: normal shutdown, power failure, emergency shutdown, check valve malfunction. Each scenario creates different transient behavior, and the only reliable way to predict those conditions is through surge analysis. Modern engineers use specialized transient simulation software. These models include pump curves, valve characteristics, pipe geometry, elevation profiles, protection devices, and operating conditions. Because guessing is not engineering, modeling is. The goal is simple: find the worst-case scenario before it happens in the real plant. Next, recognizing water hammer symptoms. Water hammer often leaves clues before catastrophic failure occurs. One of the most obvious symptoms is loud banging noise. That characteristic hammering sound gives the phenomenon its name. Visible pipe movement is another warning sign. Pipes jumping during shutdown are never normal. Support damage is another indicator. Bent supports, broken anchors, damaged guides all suggest transient loading. Valve failures may also point toward water hammer. Cracked bodies, damaged seats, broken stems. Pressure fluctuations provide another clue, especially if gauges show sudden spikes or oscillations. And finally, cavitation damage can indicate negative pressure surges. Recognizing these symptoms early allows corrective action before major failures occur. Next, key takeaways for system design. If you remember only one concept from this entire video, remember this: water hammer is momentum converted into pressure. Everything starts there. Sudden flow changes create pressure surges. Long pipelines create higher risk. Controlled shutdown creates protection. That's the entire philosophy of transient management. The goal is not eliminating momentum. The goal is managing it safely, because momentum will always exist. The question is whether engineers control it or whether it controls the system. Next, interview Q&A, consolidating key concepts. Let's quickly reinforce the most important interview questions. What causes water hammer? A sudden change in fluid velocity. Why is pump shutdown more dangerous than startup? Because flow deceleration often generates larger pressure surges. How can water hammer be reduced? Controlled shutdowns, slow valve closure, surge protection devices. Why are long pipelines vulnerable? Because they contain greater fluid momentum and allow pressure waves to develop. What is the role of the check valve? To prevent reverse flow and minimize surge severity. And remember the golden formula: sudden stop equals pressure surge, long pipe equals higher risk, controlled shutdown equals system protection. So that's how water hammer transforms fluid momentum into destructive pressure waves capable of damaging entire pumping systems. From pressure surges to check valve slam to transient protection strategies, understanding hydraulic transients is essential for every pump package engineer, because the most dangerous pressure in a system is often the pressure you never see on a steady-state datasheet. If you enjoyed this engineering breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with fellow engineers. And tell us in the comments, which topic should 3D decode next? Surge analysis? Pump minimum flow systems? NPSH and cavitation? API 610 design? Or advanced transient simulation? I'm Asterix, and this is 3D Decode. See you in the next engineering breakdown.